Hi, Winers. Welcome back to another episode of Adultish Wines. It's your girl P, and we have had so many cool guests in the studio recently, and one that I'm really excited for is Dr. Viviana Coles. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks so much for having me, Paige.
I'm so excited. It's kind of weird you're in my house.
I guess it's a little weird that I'm in your house too.
Do you just go to strangers' homes all the time, or?
Yeah, no, I don't. They're usually clients, and they're usually like in New York or in LA. So no, this is much easier
we did
to get
meet
to. Yes,
once. So you could feel out if I was a crazy person or not. Like I came because you're crazy and you need help, which we're definitely going to get into.
When you said there was someone else that would be in the house with us, that's when I said, okay.
That's when you knew it would be okay. Yeah. Most of you probably recognize Dr. Viviana from being a relationship or marriage and intimacy expert on seasons 9 through 14 of Married at First Sight.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to dig into that, but you are also so much more. You are an author of a book called 4 Intimacy Styles. You are a relationship and sex therapist, right?
Correct.
Of over 20 years of...
Yeah, I've been seeing clients for 20 years.
That's crazy because
gosh.
Are you 20 years old? You really? I mean, what's your beauty secret?
Well, let me tell you. So Paige is like super young and super hip. So I thought I would like dress all cute, and I'm totally going to get out of the mic frame. But,
yeah.
Okay, so I was like, ooh, I'm going to wear these pants that I got, okay? And some fun shoes, okay?
Okay.
I put them on, and I am one...
So you're in pants and fun shoes.
But listen, they make a ton of noise,
y'all.
Oh,
you're fine.
And I'm not kidding you. As I'm leaving the house, I'm like freaking out because they make so much noise. But I was like, I want to wear these pants. They're so fun and young and hip. And I never get to wear black on camera.
Right.
Because then you're just kind of like a floating head. And so I brought some baby powder.
Oh my God, so smart.
And I put it like all over my legs. Now, whoever can come up with black baby powder, I will be your number one customer.
That would be really smart.
Yes, because now it doesn't make as much noise. But oh my gosh, if y'all hear any weird noises,
that's it.
That's what it is. I promise. I promise.
No, you can't even tell. It blended in well. Did you learn that from a costumer on set by chance?
No, that was literally like 2 seconds before
I left the house. Because that's a trick
house.
I've used.
Oh, good.
On set. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I did used to work in Hollywood or in film as a costumer.
I didn't know you were a costumer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I could have used your help about 20 minutes ago as I'm running down the stairs. I'm like, I'm so loud. Of all places to wear loud pants, it's not a podcast.
So smart. Also, lube you could use.
Oh, I have
baby oil.
Of that.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Totally.
Okay, this is better. Lube would have been better, although my husband would have been like, why are you leaving the house with a bottle of lube?
Where are you going? Oh my God.
Where are you going? And I'm not going with you. Yeah.
Well, no, you look great.
Thank you. I was really channeling like Missy Elliott.
Or a J-Lo.
Or a J-Lo.
Yeah, absolutely.
With my wine.
With your wine. Cheers.
Anyway,
Thank
so
you
I needed
again
this. I needed this.
For being here.
Yeah, no, I'm a kind of a mess, so I needed this wine. So thank you for
Perfect.
that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. So yeah.
I'm excited too.
Noises be damned.
That's fine. Hopefully some of the editing will take it out. You'll be totally fine. Did I miss anything from your extremely amazing resume?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think just to reiterate, like a lot of people still don't know that I'm from Houston.
Yeah, I didn't know until I met you at the Nightcap.
I meet people here all the time, nearly every day now, who are like, I didn't know you were from Houston. I don't know how to like spell it out any louder. I've tried to tell everybody I love Houston. Born and raised, went away for my undergrad, then graduate school, and then my doctorate. But I came back like as soon as possible. And my private practice is called Houston Relationship Therapy.
Oh, you're like dedicated.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Houston. I love the diversity. I love the diversity in food. Now, the topography could be better. Like looking at a Buffalo Bayou isn't as exciting as maybe.
It's pretty swampy.
Yeah. It's swampy. And it's so hot. It's so hot right now.
It's so hot right now. Honestly, I'm surprised that you're in leather pants to start with, because the first time I met you at the Nightcap, which actually wasn't even summer, this was many months ago, and I had never met you before. I did, of course, recognize you, and you were like, oh my God, it's so hot. And I was like, I am in leather pants, and my vagina,
That's
what did I say? I said, there's a fire in my pants
There's
right now.
fire
And I'm
in
not
your pants.
even kidding.
So, yes, there is very likely a fire brewing in my pants as well. And again, if you see like liquid dripping from the... Look, can you hear it? It's happening. It is literally sweat. That's what it would be. I just made poor choices trying to keep up with you young folk, and this is what's happening.
It's okay. Once the wine starts, you'll feel the wine and it'll go away.
I'm gonna drink.
Okay, cool. So born and raised in Houston, love it. I've only been here for 3 years. I absolutely love it. And actually, we're going to get obviously into my dating and perpetually single life later, but I have dated more than I ever have in Houston. So I have loved that part of Houston.
Yeah. I have 2 kids. Nobody ever knows I'm a mom. But that's also on purpose.
How old are your kids?
About to be 15 and about to be 12.
Okay.
So I just don't ever talk about kids because being in the kind of the public eye, you just don't want to.
You want to keep them out of it.
I want to keep them out of it until we don't want to keep them out of it, maybe, or maybe they don't want to keep.
Or until they choose to be in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of keeping the creepers away and just. I mean, the comment section. Fortunately, my followers are the best.
Okay.
That's encouraging. I know. I think a lot of it is because my team and I were very hands-on from the very beginning to just eliminate and block the people that just didn't fit with the vibe that we were trying to give off on social media.
We don't need you.
We don't need you. And then my followers started policing the other followers who would just like say random things.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, we don't really have to do anything.
Perfect. You have your little, what do you call them? Do you have, like, I have whiners. Those are my followers.
Whiners?
Do you have any, like...
No, I would love to.
Vivianas or...
I don't know.
Okay, we'll come up with something.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. Maybe y'all come up with something. But yeah, no, I love them and they're so sweet and kind. And anytime anybody decides to drop in and just kind of be a troll, they get eliminated.
I love it. Good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Let's really quickly dive into Married at First Sight. Yeah. You did seasons 9 through 14.
Amazing.
And I want to know, first and foremost, can you find love on reality TV? Yes. There are some couples that have lasted, right?
Yes, there are some couples that have lasted.
Okay.
Some couples that have lasted that I would not have expected based off of like their initial trajectory.
Yeah.
Some of them have lasted and it was like, slam dunk, you made me believe that it's possible and you continue to just be amazing to each other. So yes, you can, but I do think a lot of it has to be about you being adaptable. Like you have to be adaptable whenever you're meeting somebody on camera or even off camera, but who has a public persona. You have to be willing to kind of do the work to get to know who you are going to be as a couple outside of that.
Because the pressure of a camera following you around so closely, I can't even imagine what that's like.
Oh, yeah. And I can't either. The truth is, because, as the experts on the show, we're only there on camera with them a few weeks out of the entire process.
Okay.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's more than any other show out there.
Right.
But it is not nearly as much time as they're spending with each other on camera, being asked, being encouraged to share with each other, to get to know each other, to grow. There's no you can't just veg out on your phone. You can't go hang out with your friends, So yeah, that's really tough. But that's what they signed up for.
Yeah.
They signed up to really get to know each other so that they can fall in love.
If you signed up for the right reasons.
Yes. And if you didn't, guys, everybody knows. You're not hiding anything.
Yeah, it shines right through. You're a dick. It
totally does. Well, not only, okay, I don't know about that part, but, okay, yes, you are. But I think on top of that, you cannot hold on to a lie that long. Everything always comes out.
Yeah.
Everything comes out. So especially when you are telling your partner, hey, I really don't think we should talk about this, or we need to be like this on him. Those are the things that absolutely come out.
Right. There was a couple who did have sex, but they didn't, I can't remember their name. She was blonde. He was a big CrossFitter, and they didn't want to say on TV that they had sex. But it ended up really being hard because in all of your guys' interactions with trying to get help from you because they were struggling, they were saying, we didn't have sex. And you guys were, trying to dive into it.
It's so weird because I'm looking at you blankly because I can't remember
exactly. She was a flight attendant, I think.
Oh. Clara and Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It's been a while.
That's okay. There's
and
been
I've
a
seen
lot of
so
couples.
many clients. I'm their stories get a little jumbled up. But yeah, Clara and Ryan. I think that was one of the downfalls was that she came into this wanting to be like super authentic, and she was an open book, which we loved because people learn from people like that.
Yeah.
And Ryan was a much more guarded kind of guy when it came to this sort of thing. And I think he was a little bit overly concerned about what either his family or the public or whoever would think about their situation. And because they were on different pages, it all ends up coming out anyway.
Yeah, totally. What about, I have to talk about, first of all, when I met you on the Nightcap and then we had the conversation on camera, I was like, oh, she seems just the same way as she is on TV. You know, just like in real life, very pleasant, but forward and straightforward.
I'm
but
just laughing because I'm like, this is not anything that I would ever like wear on the show. But
that's okay.
But the Nightcap is super fun, and
yeah, you can let loose a little bit. Yeah,
yes,
and
it's like very casual. So,
right.
Yeah, I love that.
But Elizabeth and Jamie, she was a redhead, right?
Yeah, still is.
Is. Did they work? Are they still together?
As of this airing, probably not.
No. This was many seasons ago. The one who called you a bitch.
Oh,
and you were like,
no, I think that they just separated.
Oh, really?
They had just announced their separation.
Oh.
Wah, wah. Yeah. I had
to
really
hear
high
it.
hopes for them because they did really put themselves and each other through the ringer for the process, for each other. I don't know exactly what happened or anything like that. I think she's working up to like being able to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I respect their process. They gave us hope as well that couples that were like clashing and really passionate about like their stances, and it was very volatile. So it's not like anybody would really want that. But the fact is they got past a lot of that, and they seem to have really enjoyed the time that they had together. So who knows? I mean, just like with anything off screen, you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
It ain't over till it's over. But yeah.
I loved when she called you. Well, she didn't call you. She said bitch. And you were like, you didn't just call me a bitch.
Oh my gosh. Can we just talk about that for a second? Because anyone who knows me closely knows, like, I don't curse.
Oh, really?
Now, I don't have as much. No. I don't have as much of a problem with other people cursing as I used to. And I figured out it's because back in the day when the kids were younger, I was always so concerned that they would pick up on it. So like I would change the channel if it was like, you know, on screen or like on the radio or whatever. And then I realized like now that they're not going to curse unless, I mean, if they do it on purpose with their friends or something. I don't know, earmuffs on that one. But now it doesn't bother me as much. But that's the sort of thing where it killed me internally to repeat what she said, but I knew I had to. And let me tell you why I had to. Yeah, I know this is bad. This is like, I knew I had to because I was the new expert on the block, and I was very similar in age to them, and I wanted to make sure like I put that rule down. Like, no, you're not going to see me as a peer in this because I can really help you. And I don't want to be like, it's like Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal. And then, oh, there's Viv. No. It's Dr. Viviana to you.
It is doctor.
And
I'm asserting my dominance.
Yes. I have my doctorate. I earned it. So yeah, I was just trying to like set the tone. And fortunately it worked.
No, I mean, I think you did great, but I think it was necessary. And it's like also, yeah, you're not their peer. You can be trying to help them. Like nobody needs to talk to anyone like that.
After that very long evening, because I went from one argument to another, like each home, it was just a lot. I remember going back to the hotel and I called my husband. I was like, honey, I cursed on national television. And he's like laughing already. He's like, what? How did that happen? And I told him, he's like, oh no, you had to do that. Like you had to do that. I said, you're right. But the whole time I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, now I'm going to be in agony and to find out if they use that. And this isn't going to air for like another 6 months. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're such a square. I'm like, I'm a professional. And
wow.
I'm over it now. But because when it came out, everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it was empowering. Kind of, you know?
It scared me. But
it scared me. That's so funny. There's other couples that we could talk about, but really I want to know, awkward scenes, do they need to... I've done one reality TV show as a costume. I worked on The Bachelorette on Rachel Lindsay's season.
Okay.
But I was really, I call myself like a little closet rat. Like I didn't come out of the basement like 14 racks of clothes.
You just had glitter all over you.
I was just glitter, ball gowns, returning, never eating. I was the thinnest I've ever been in my life because I was just worked to the bone. It was a non-union show. But so I didn't get a chance to be on set for a reality TV. So for you, are there scenes where like they need to repeat? Like if they're like are the producers and cameramen really just filming what happened, or are they like, ooh, I didn't catch that, you guys got to repeat that fight?
I've never witnessed that.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible. Like if, I guess if something really happens, I think actually the one thing that I will say is they don't ever want to like ruin the flow.
Okay.
But if there's like a helicopter or a train or an ambulance, it's like hold for sound, hold for audio.
Can you imagine if you're that couple fighting and you're like,
oh, yeah. But they also get it because at that point they really know like everything that we do is going to be on camera. Everything.
Yeah.
Barring like what happens in the restroom or maybe like behind the bedroom door or whatever.
Right.
But everybody's game. They're game for it. They get it. Yeah, I don't think anybody has a hard time with that part.
Okay.
But everything else, it seems like it's just like, no, we catch what we catch. That's what captions are for, thank goodness.
Right.
Very helpful with that. And we have very good sound engineers on the show. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like I'm binging the Houston season right now?
No spoilers, I guess. But
no.
Like
it's over. Yeah. So spoiler alert: if you don't want to know season 13 results, stop listening for a minute. But Gil and Mirla, wait a second. Do we not kiss for weeks at a time?
They did not.
I like totally want to respect somebody's path.
Yeah.
With that, especially like a woman.
But
I'm like, a peck? A kiss?
I know. It was really, it was frustrating because they had that like connection.
Yeah.
They had that desire for each other. And in my mind, I'm like, capitalize on that because that will help you to feel more like a team through this. And frick, you're married.
You're married.
Like you're married. Why not? Why not see what it's like to kiss? Why not see, I don't know. That was frustrating, but at the same time, you absolutely want to respect people's process. But I just didn't want him to get the wrong idea, and I didn't want her to not move with her feelings.
Right.
Just because she thought, well, my belief system is this.
Yeah.
He was so patient. Nobody's been through this situation before. Like, this is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Only a few people know what that's like to be married at first sight.
This is a very exclusive group.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I did apply for The Bachelorette back in the day, and I applied for Love is Blind.
Ooh, Love is Blind. love it.
Blind. I would totally do it. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And The Ultimatum.
Yeah, The Ultimatum.
Yeah, I really love all their shows.
I do too.
Yeah.
I liked the recent Ultimatum with the lesbian couples.
Queer love. Oh, I was like, so the first couple of episodes, I was like texting with my group and I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I feel like it's a little on the cheesy end. I don't know. It just like I work with a lot of LGBTQIA couples and I'm like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, this is accurate. This is accurate.
You did feel like it was.
Yes, I did. And I was invested from the very beginning.
Me too.
And all the way through. I loved it. I feel like there needs to be more of it.
I do
more
too.
representation. I want to see all kinds of love.
Yeah. How did you feel? I had this girl named Kay on as a guest. You might have met her on the Nightcap once. She is queer. She's a whiskey ambassador. And I talked to her about The Ultimatum and how she thought of it. And she loved it. I had an issue with the host not being queer. And I know she doesn't have that much involvement in the show.
Yeah.
But I just thought that's another chance for you to have more representation.
I don't know how those decisions are made.
Right. But do you think it could have just lended a little bit more to the
it could
to the purpose?
It really just depends because I think her name is Joanna Garcia. I remember like I remember like
I was going to say
she's
Shannon.
Latina. no, her name is Joanna something. But okay. It was a little shocking just because I haven't seen her on screen for a long time.
Okay.
And then I like how they immediately addressed it. They're like, but you're not queer. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm an ally. I mean, I feel like being a host is very different than being an expert. Yeah. So, it could have been really anyone, and I think she was neutral enough.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I don't know. It could have also been one of those things where, there have been issues in the past with like participants falling in love with like, so maybe her being straight could have possibly deterred that sort of situation. You never know.
Yeah, that's totally.
I mean, I'm just thinking
that has happened. I remember there was that on The Bachelorette. One of the bachelorettes got with a cameraman.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm not going to lie, I've worked with some cute cameramen.
Well, of course there are. Yeah.
I'm a cameraman and a grip girly.
You hear that?
They're just like
she's
strong.
Into the grip. Yeah.
They're big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know when to be quiet. Know when to share.
Know when to be quiet. Yep. And they're obviously just, I mean, sorry, but they're giving you attention on set because they're obviously just like horny men.
Oh, okay. That was not my experience.
Dr. Viviana, I'm sorry. You're like, I'm a swear. Please stop. I'm a swear.
No. Not like that. But no, I didn't have any. It was like super professional on set. So
well, it's always professional. I mean, nothing's going down. But they're like, when I go to Crafty, they're like following me to Crafty. I'm like, okay, I'll take the attention.
Maybe it's different when you're single.
I think so.
And you're giving off the vibe. Are you giving off the vibe?
Maybe. Try to.
I think you did. As you were really getting into that
looking
bag
for my
of nuts.
Banana and peanut butter. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the banana.
Yep. They're like, are you getting another banana? Hey, Paige, come over here and eat that banana. Yeah. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's just pretending.
Oh my God, I'm dead. Okay, what else? Married at First Sight. Do they get paid?
Yes, they get paid for their time because there are parts of it where they are expected not to be able to work.
Okay.
It's super minimal.
Like jury duty status? Like,
oh, I don't even, how much do people get paid for that?
I don't know. In California, it was like $80 a day.
Oh, maybe less than that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Like $1,000 is like a week, $1,500.
Okay.
I mean, it's not nothing, but my goodness, it's
okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
But all the dates, like if they're going out to dinners and stuff like that, is that on production?
For.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all paid for. I'm sure that there are things that if they want to do that's extra, then that's on them. If they want to like buy certain gifts or whatever. Right. But yeah, they're very generous with the budget with that sort of thing.
Okay.
Again, it's all relative though,
Yeah.
And they're all coming from different places. So it might be to them like, no, this isn't good enough, which we've seen happen sometimes where people like Mirla, she changed her wedding ring.
Yeah.
We noticed on decision day, Cal was like, that's not your wedding band. She's like, no, it was ugly.
Oh my God. I did love her honesty, but I
did too. I did too.
I kind of was like, I want to be more like Mirla, but then I was like, I'm happy that I'm not like Mirla. Like in some ways I want to have a more honest, if someone says like, are you having fun? Or like, do you love this resort? And she's like, no. Like, I want to be like,
that was hard.
Not my favorite.
That was hard because to hear it, because you just kind of cringe a little because you're like, you got to go somewhere
and you're here with your
fabulous
husband.
That most people would never get to go, and really it shouldn't matter that much. I mean, even if it's raining the whole time, you're on your honeymoon, like make the most of it. But yeah, it was, I mean, it's all relative, and people really struggle with different parts of it, and the people who struggle with production, I really feel for, just because again, nobody's ever really used to it, and like I said, we pop in and out, even though we know what's going on. We pop in and out, so we're just not in. I easily come back home, transition right back to mom, transition to wife, transition back to my practice.
Right.
They're like in it for months.
Feels like the walls are closing in, I'm sure.
And if they're the New Orleans season, they were in it for double the amount of time because of COVID, the lockdown. My visit happened the weekend, so my last visit with them, with the couples, was on a Sunday, and New Orleans locked down on Monday. I was like on the last flight out. It was nuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one of those, it was uncertain times.
It sure was.
That was really weird because I remember at the very first day that I was visiting, it was like all hugs and hey, and then that night it's like, so there's this thing happening and there might be a shutdown. And I was like, oh, and so they said, so we're not going to touch them anymore. I was like, what about feet? They're like, oh yeah, just, like hit feet a little bit as I peel my legs. And so we did that. And then by the end of like the next day, my last visits, it was like, hi, I'm going to be over here. Just like, let's sit across from each other. It was very weird, very scary, but I was glad I got to see them before the shutdown.
Yeah.
The world shut down. Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, real
wild.
life stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of all I had for Married at First Sight, because you did season 9 through 14, and
I loved it.
Okay,
I will say, because people ask me that all the time, like, why did you leave?
Right. Yeah, you have some people were sliding into my DMs like, I love Dr. Viviana. I love Dr. Viviana.
Well, so loving it was never the issue.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that it's a full-on commitment, and it's very exclusive. Like, that's all I could do. When it was finally time to sign my contract, it wasn't an easy decision, but I was like, I have so many other things that I want to do, and I can't while I'm doing this, because there's a lot of episodes, and and there was even a spinoff. So I was doing a ton. And so while I loved it, I had to make that decision, like, do I want to be locked in for another 2 years by doing this? And they were so sweet. They're like, just do one more season. I'm like, yeah, but if I do one more season, that's 2 more years of exclusivity.
Definitely.
And my husband's like, I know you love this. I'm like, I know I love it too, but that's not enough sometimes,
Yeah, well, you just wanted to try, like you said, you have other things you wanted to accomplish.
Yes, and I was able to do my book tour, and my practice is growing, and we've talked about what's coming up in the future.
Yeah.
So, I have a lot of fun things in the works to helping, more love, especially in Houston. But yeah, so there was no drama.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people
will be disappointed about that, but
I'm still in touch with everyone, and they know that I'm a big fan. I can't say that I watch the show anymore, but that's not for any reason other than, like, there's so many other shows to watch.
There's so many other shows, but you're watching The Ultimatum, which supports the franchise.
And I'm like constantly on Kinetics, like Instagram, like, I love this, I'm watching that. So yeah,
it's
good. Yeah.
Okay,
no
so
bad blood.
Focusing on your practice, Houston Relationship Therapy. Yeah. You are a relationship and sex therapist.
Yes.
We're going to dive in. Mm-hmm. What kind of clients do you end up seeing? Like, only couples? Do you ever see solo people?
Yeah, so
I'm kind of the baseline.
Technically, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Okay.
And I'm a certified sex therapist. So what that ends up looking like is I can see individuals, I can see families, but I do that less than I see couples. Now, that doesn't mean I don't see couples in individual sessions.
Okay.
But mainly it's couples who are experiencing some sort of an issue when it comes to their intimacy. But remember, intimacy is both physical and emotional. Mm-hmm. So their connection is cracked. It's bruised, it's battered, it's broken, and they want to come in and try to figure out how to heal that. And that's predominantly what I've been doing. Yes, as a certified sex therapist, I do tend to really shine the spotlight on their sex life, just because I believe that that's a really big reason why people either stay together or end up breaking up.
Okay.
And I'm kind of uniquely able to help them with that sort of thing in a very, like, practical way, because that's me. Like, I tend to be very practical. I don't tend to really, like, I idealize kind of how sex lives should be. I'm a mom. I'm a working woman. Like, I understand what it's like to not be into things. Everybody's always like, oh, you're a certified sex therapist? Like, your husband must be like, woohoo. No, my husband has had issues with me as well, like postpartum, or, just being super tired, or like just fluctuations in the way that I feel about myself. Yeah, it doesn't make anything perfect, but it does make us really hyper aware of like, hey, if this is off, we need to deal with this now, so that we do continue to stay connected even while having these issues. And that's what I would say is probably the key to anything and getting through something, is just being able to communicate about it and putting it, like, right on the table instead of putting it away in the closet, like upper shelf or in the attic. Like, no, just leave it there. And if you talk about it, you can make sure you get to it.
Yeah. What is a good way to bring something super uncomfortable up to your partner, whether it's specifically like sexual intimacy, or whether it's like something that you really need for them to do. Like I remember someone in my life once told me like foreplay for me is like emptying the dishwasher. Like when you empty the dishwasher, I am so like that is so much time that you've taken from me. I can't wait to have sex with you. Like I'm less tired, you know, things like that. So like,
well, so here's the thing, and this is where it starts to get practical, and this is where it's not like something you read out of Cosmo. So yes, there might be women who are like, oh, I'm so grateful that you've cleaned out the dishwasher, you've, you know, taken the dog for a walk, or you put the kids to bed. But then what the mainstream media will tell you is, oh, that will open her up to being receptive to sex. But what if she's like most women who's like, I get to take a shower for like more than 5 minutes, or I can go and take my favorite workout class because of that. So I think we get into this trap where people say, hey, help her out because then she'll want to have sex with you. Well, not always. Like sometimes she might want to have time for herself to do something that she enjoys, like go have drinks with her friends or go for a walk by herself. That's the practical side that a lot of people think if you do A, you'll get B. No, if you do A, you might get B, C, D, or E. And she shouldn't feel, I guess, guilted into that.
Definitely not.
But I will say partnerships tend to have a better sex life. Yeah. So if somebody doesn't, if y'all feel like you're a team together, you're probably going to do better in the bedroom. Okay. You're probably going to talk about things more openly. If you're uncomfortable sharing something, have a proposed solution ready to go. Like, hey, we have this issue. I'm thinking this might help, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Because if you could just come to the table and say, hey, we're not having enough sex.
Right.
Now what? You know, that really shuts people down. Whereas you're like, hey, you know, we're not having enough sex. I'm feeling like it's starting to we're starting to feel like strangers. We're starting to feel like roommates. I was thinking that maybe we need to get back into doing that weekly date night. What do you think? Have some sort of proposed solution ready. Because then you're basically like passing the baton and saying, what do you think? Whereas otherwise they're just kind of like, and what do you want to do about it?
Right. Or yeah, I feel the same, like what's going on with us? And then
it's a standstill. And you're like, no, that's not what this conversation was supposed to be like. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an opinion on scheduling sex?
I have a very strong opinion on scheduling sex. I am a huge fan of it. And I recently, I talk about it every once in a while, but this last time that I talked about it, it was like, you would think that I just like dropped a bomb on IG and just ran away. People were going nuts. They're
really?
If you have to schedule sex, there's something really wrong with y'all. You're not attracted to each other. You should divorce.
Oh.
And other people are like, oh my gosh, if we didn't schedule sex, it would never happen because of our very busy lifestyles. Other people are like, all those people saying that they shouldn't schedule sex, it's because they don't have kids. And all of the above is true. But what the part is that they failed to like actually listen to was that I said, if you're not having enough spontaneous sex.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't have spontaneous sex, only scheduled sex. I'm just saying there are a lot of couples out there who just don't have spontaneous sex. So if you don't.
And you'd like to be having more, talk about it. So how would that look like? If somebody wanted to propose that, would that be like, hey, you know, we have 3 kids. Wednesday seems to be the lightest day for cheer and soccer and golf practice. What if we do a date night on Wednesdays and we make sure that we give each other like sexual intimacy that night just to make sure that we're getting it? Would that be something like that?
That's perfect. I think that you just need to go write it down for everybody as a script. But here's the thing. Some people hear that and think, oh man, there's something really wrong. Like if that's the only time we're ever going to be able to have sex, that's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is that's the sort of thing that makes it to where you are connecting in that way. And that day, maybe you don't take your melatonin too early. Maybe you don't eat that, red sauce a little, and like you start to really think about how you're going to feel.
Mexican that night.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you don't answer that call from your sister-in-law that on the way home because she's going to be freaking out about something.
You're not allowing distractions.
You're anticipating, and that's my hope for couples who are scheduling sex is that they get to a place where on the days or even the days leading up to date night, there's a little bit like, ooh, I'm going to groom a little bit differently, or I'm going to like make sure that I relax a little bit, or maybe I take a shower before we go out to dinner. I don't know, whatever it is that gets you in the mood.
Okay.
That's the hope. Now, if that's the only time that you're able to have sex, and if one person's like, okay, it's on the calendar, so let's just do it. Or here's another thing, because you asked, like, what are different ways to do that? So one of the things that I came up with is this idea that the person who needs it on the calendar in order to prepare themselves emotionally or physically for it, not like they're having to talk themselves into it, but they need to like relax, or they need to maybe, again, avoid doing certain things that might knock them out. They put it on their calendar, but they don't share it with their partner.
Oh, okay.
Because if their partner's up for it whenever, they don't need to see it on the calendar.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So it's just like with anything else that matters and anything else that needs to become a priority, make it make sense for you.
Yeah.
And it does not mean that there's anything wrong. We live very busy lifestyles. You know, doing this, you asked me early enough to where I was like, yep, it's on the calendar, it's done. But if you had asked me any later, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, I have plans right after this. Like,
right.
It's very easy to get your schedule
absolutely
filled up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but what about, I think I've heard you talk about this before in many people, but what is the best approach if a couple, whether it's a new couple or a long-term committed relationship, has completely different sex drives?
Yeah.
What is the compromise there?
So I don't know that there is a compromise.
Okay.
I think it's something that absolutely should be addressed in therapy. This is the vast majority. When I'm licensed in California, New York, and Texas, I see this issue everywhere, all the time. So much so that I launched an online program for couples who are having this exact issue but can't necessarily see me in person,
right?
Because I deal with this all the time. It's the Dr. Viviana method for intimate reconnection. You can find it on my website.
Okay.
It is it's a 6-week program, and it's based off of years and years of working with couples who have what we call desire discrepancy. And that's basically a nice way of saying when one person wants more or less and they're not on the same page and cannot get through that awkward place. Maybe they haven't had sex in ages, or maybe when they do, it's satisfying, but it's like just something's off, or they feel like they do it just to check off the box. This is for those couples.
Okay.
Now, it's not for couples who have like major resentments, who are dealing with like affairs or anything like that. Definitely work through those things first.
Yeah.
But then for the couples who are really like, we just need someone to tell us exactly what to do or what not to do. And that's who this program is for.
Okay.
Because I'm very direct. I tell you exactly what to do every single day. Every single day for 6 weeks, I tell you what to do, what not to do. And so again, if you're one of those people who's like, no, I don't like people telling me what to do, then it's not for you. But if you're like, Jesus, take the wheel, or Dr. Viviana, take the wheel.
Yeah, Dr. Viviana. What would DV do? What would that be? WD. DVD.
WW.
Oh, WW.
WWDVD. Oh, gosh.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like all of these Christians
Thank
are
you
like,
for
what?
Thank you for helping me get there.
We're there.
We're there. We made it. Okay, Winers, let me stop you there. I knew this was going to be a 2-part episode because I just knew she was going to have so many good things to say. So the rest is going to be next week on part 2. So tune in for part 2 with Dr. Viviana Coles next Thursday. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Love you. Bye.